All right. So I don't really have too much to talk with y'all today. Um, that's why I'd say I got nothing for you. I have a little something, but it's been crazy, crazy week for me. But hey, y'all need to know my problems, or I'll save it for a story time. But let's get on with things. All right. So let's first take that down. Oh, I didn't mean to show that. But here we go. We're gonna cover our bases with the Fair Use Act. But first, let me get it up there. Okay. Yes, I know we starting later than usual. Shows how crazy things has been for me. All right. Okay. Show that. Put that in there. Okay. Well, let's widen it up so I don't have to scroll down. Hey, that should do it. That should do it. All right. Oh, I seem to be lagging down. Okay, there we go. All right. Covering our bases. This channel may contain content not authorized for use by its owner. However, according to Section 107 of the Copyright Act of the United States, the fair use, I repeat, the fair use of copyrighted work for purposes such as criticism, always, comments, oh, definitely, news reporting, only for those who don't know. Teacher, hopefully you're going to learn something new today. Oh, we're going to learn something new today. Scholarship or research is not an infringement of copyright. Yay! Okay. So you got that out of the way. Okay. So as we're waiting for people to come in, our usual thing is to show a vid chronicle. We make our little comments here and there, you know. But basically it's just give people time to come in. Alrighty, let's set it up. Okay, first vid chronicle. All right. Wife come home from vacation. Okay, no, that's not the complete title, but yeah, that's what we're going with. Okay, let's get it started.
Cheating hurts. Most of all, whenever you cheat, expect to be cheated on. Life is a two-way street. What goes around comes around.
Okay. All right. Hey, Brianna. Um, what's wrong with these women? Okay. Now, there are some women. I have a friend like that. um, you do her wrong, she's gonna do you wrong. She'll tit for tat, and she'll come even harder. She'll double down on whatever wrong you done to her. So this is an example. Okay, you cheat on your woman, bring another woman in her bed, in her house. Oh, shoots. You saw the tip for the tap. She bring another man in the house, gonna have his baby, divorce you. Oh my goodness, and kick you out, and dare you to go ahead and say what you're gonna say. Yeah, yeah. Although usually my friend doesn't bring other men in to fight her battles like that. She'll probably tell it and get the hell out of my house. But uh, that part, that's a little too much. Hi, Hassan. Thanks for making it. So she found out 4 months ago her husband was cheating on her. She just didn't know who he was cheating on with. Why she didn't bust him right then and there? As I said, there's some women that need to get back is a lot strong. Not to mention, not to have her heart breaking in front of you and stuff like that, where she's liable to say stuff that she will regret later, like begging. So you got to know your woman. He knew his woman. First of all, he wouldn't have been cheating on her. Second of all, he wouldn't bring that woman. Sure as heck wouldn't bring that woman in the house in the bedroom. That is the ultimate disrespect. I've seen women go shooting. He's lucky she didn't pull a gun and go in there shooting. That's another reason why not to go jumping in there right then and there. Because you're so blindly very angry, you could kill somebody. Had that happen with a neighbor, um, she didn't go gunning for the girl. As far as we know, she shot at him, but she didn't hit him. But she's such a good shot, she probably did that deliberately, at least according to her cousin, who had to kind of arrest her. Um, let's see. But he jumped over two hurricane fences and butt naked running out the door. Left that poor woman alone with a very mad, crazily mad enough pull out a gun woman. Yeah. Okay. Then this woman, okay, back to the show. This woman is supposed to be her friend. Oh, she gonna get her. But she was concentrate on the husband because that's the main one. He made promises to you. You just ruined your friendship with her. Who knows what you're gonna do to get back at her? Or she might just let it go. Mm, okay. All right, you gotta go, buddy. All right. Um, user. All right. Don't be bringing that stuff up in here. We ain't the one. Um, she will have mental health. Well, weirdly enough, the fact that she got okay. Oh, the neighbor that oh yeah, she kind of had a little bit of a breakdown. Okay, so when the police came for a neighbor who shot at her husband because she came home from work, found him in their bed with this other woman. When the police got there, she was sitting down. She had the gun in one hand. She was smoking a cigarette, and the woman was still stuck in the bedroom. She hadn't been hurt. She ain't been shot at, but that is very terrifying. The woman is terrified, and he comes in there, and he gets in front of her. It's like, "Cuz, let me have the gun." And she's like, "What? What gun?" She had a breakdown because she didn't remember having the gun. And she's like, "Okay, here." Took the gun, and he walked out of there and then asked what happened. And that's when she broke down and told it all. The woman who was hysterically crying, the other woman was hysterically crying, and my dog almost got her husband, hey, buck naked, banging on the door. Well, actually, he's lucky. We had kept him inside for the day. If he'd been outside, he'd been missing a chunk of his behind or something else more vital. But yeah, yeah, there are women. They'll get back at you the same way you hurt them. The same way they'll get back. Be like, they crazy. Why didn't she just leave him? That need for tick for tat. And obviously, this woman in this video is like that. She's a tit for tat for person. I ain't saying she's right, for to go on about it this way. But trust me, it's better out of the things that could be done. This was a lot better for everybody's health. You know. All right, all right. Okay, okay. I guess I drove a few people away. All right, y'all ready for the next video? Something that's not so quite so out there. Let's see. All right. This one kind of touched on some things we've been hearing about lately. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. All right. All right. I hope I didn't already play this one. The thing's trying to start on me, and I just wanted to get it in there. All right, this video is just ready to jump out and start. All right, here we go. All right, everybody. Now, well, with everything we've been seeing with the Shaquilla Robinson thing, this felt like it hit close to home. Not everybody is out to physically harm you, but they will harm you in other ways. Sabotage your relationships, sabotage your businesses, sabotage your reputation. Yeah. And also observe your friends and have a very much awareness of them, you know, how they seem to respond to things that's going on with you. Yeah. Because sometimes you just got to know your friends very, very well and realize not all the time they're going to be happy for you, especially if things are not going so well in their own lives or they're not doing as good. Yes, unfortunately, there are some people that are like that. They cannot be happy for you because they're unhappy or they're not satisfied with the way things are going in their life, you know, or their relationships, or they want what you got so badly instead of going out and go for they go after what you have. Yes, yeah, we know those that go after their friend's man because they want a man like him, but instead of go look for a man like him, they go after yours. When right there. Yeah. Um. Yeah. But the extreme case, they want to do bodily harm to you, and that's what was going on with Shaquilla. Um. They wanted to do bodily harm. Yeah. Now I don't think they wanted to kill her, but they did want to hurt her. They wanted to embarrass her. They wanted to shame her. Uh, they wanted to show her she wasn't all that. I bet you, um, once it all start coming out and it goes to trial and court and all that's gonna come out. Hmm. You know, they was envious. They was jealous. Things weren't going well for them. They wanted to be her man, or they want to be her friend, or uh, they wanted to be her. In case one of them is of the alphabet crew. There's implications, but we don't know for certain. All kind of jealousy and hate are probably two main reasons. Hmm. Why else would they beat her, record her, and beat her while she's naked? Hmm. But let's see. As for the Shaquilla Robinson update, there's not too much going on. We do know that there's a warrant going out, and uh, well, so far Dejanay, but there's no name on it. But that's the way Mexico does it. I don't think we can be absolutely positive it's Dejanay or it's just Dejanay. hmm But since she was the primary one in the videos shown hitting Shaquilla, it's almost a safe bet to say that is for her. Now we're waiting to see, what waiting to see if Mexico has enough evidence uh, for uh, to persuade America to extradite her over to Mexico. If not, she will be tried in America because she did kill an American citizen. Um, and as for the others, it's a matter of time. They're either going to be indicted or they're going to be witnesses. hmm So, yeah, all of them's going to be called, but not all of them going to be called because of the crime. They might be considered witnesses. hmm Yeah. One of the ladies that one of the people that check up on updates with, she had it seemed like she said like she had some new stuff, but from what I was hearing so far, um, not too much new. hmm Yeah, so right now we have to wait and see how it's going, because most of it we ain't gonna know until they make a move. You know, did it? Yeah. So in the meantime, we can try to predict how things are going. Who else is going to be charged and what they're going to be charged for. Now, seem to be interested about the femicide. Okay, reason and probably also the reason why Dejanay is suspected to be trans, because in our definition of femicide is a crime, a woman being killed, as usually by a man. But it seems like Mexico, their definition of femicide, if a woman is killed who have some kind of relationship with the person, and we're not talking about physical relationship, romantic relationship, any type of relationship. Are they? It's supposed to be best friends, intimate relationship. They mean like is your best friend. That means that's supposed to be the person that knows you the best. They know you better than anybody. You closest to them more than anybody, any of your friends. So, you know, and since she's considered to be one, or she claimed to be one, the family says she's one, Shaquilla's best friend. That's why they have her down for femicide. Have her down for femicide because she has an intimate relationship, a friendship, and that's made even worse so, because for a best friend to want to hurt you that badly, they hate you. They hate you. When you go attack your best friend, that means you hate your best friend. Your love turned to hate. So femicide is considered a hate crime. So yeah, that's why how Dejanay could be charged with a hate crime, a femicide, when she's a female. But hey, but there's some people that feels that no, Dejanay is trans. Okay, we'll find out as the court proceed. You know, but yeah. So that might take some of these. Okay, so that's the thing with Shaquilla. That's what I have on Shaquilla Robinson thing. There's there've been arrests put out. There's extradition. Waiting to extradite. See if it's been approved of extradition. It's gonna be a small trial where Mexico bring the evidence of what they have on her, why they charging her, blah blah blah, and and see if she's be judged to be extradited into Mexico. All right, now I'm not going to talk too much about Shaquilla after this too much, unless they really got something new, like extraditing into she's extradited to Mexico. Somebody new has been charged. We, as I said, Mexico has a policy. They do not give this information out, to protect the witnesses, to protect the person being charged, all that. Hmm. So we're learning. The only thing about this that could be considered is opening America's eyes, especially Black Americans' eyes, into how the law works in these other countries. Because sometimes we're not aware of anything outside of the United States, unless we travel or we hear something on the news. I remember, what's that? I'm trying to remember what that white boy name who went into some country and he sprayed graffiti and they caned him because that was the law in the country. And America was trying to, yeah, some white boy, and was like, yeah, spank him. You just go there, give us a bad reputation, blah blah blah. You know, America, yeah. We was all for. Although I know on my part, I was like, yeah, whip that white boy. You know, you spoil. You think you go into another country and do whatever you want to do without any consequences? You spoil. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And then you got the thing with Russia and Brittany, uh, uh, Renner. Okay, well, we don't really know too much about the law going on with Brittany. We learning about their drug laws, but some of that looks a little suspect and stuff like that. You know, like there's alternate reasons, and she just made herself the most likely target, so they can use her for the other purposes. So it's a little suspect, hinky. All right. Okay, so let's see. All right. Now, okay, so I've been thinking a lot about uh, health and women's health. And like the number one we worried about is like pregnancy, because we lose too many Black women um, after they give birth, during the birth, and we also lose children. But I think, you know, because that seemed to be the main thing. At least when I was growing up, some I know some girls who never saw a doctor until got pregnant. You know, um, or they're old enough and needed birth control and had to go to a gynecologist and stuff like that. Um, and so don't know about don't know too much beyond that. I know some their primary is their gynecologist. Like I got a primary physician, I got a cardiologist, um, a rheumatologist. Okay, let me do it. A lung doctor, and this other one for inflammation. Oh, I got a bunch of doctors. Okay, and a gynecologist. I also have a dentist. Well, actually, I gotta look for another dentist. I don't know what's going on with my dentist since COVID, and I'm overdue for a teeth cleaning. But yeah, eye doctor. Yeah, for the longest time, my primary doctor was my eye doctor. He was the doctor I saw the most. I hardly ever saw a obstetricianist growing up. Usually for some kind of emergency, you know. But unless it's something that can wait till I can go to the doctor's office. I hardly have any emergency where I have to go to the emergency room. Yeah, so people going to the emergency room a lot is new to me. It's like, oh, are you crazy? Go to the emergency room. I didn't have to go to the emergency room a lot until I had to go bring my grandparents. My grandfather had health issues, and he would have ischemic strokes, which would freak us out until I got used to them and knew what to do with them. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So I've been thinking a lot about women health. I came across this video a little bit looking for something else, and it's a it's about red flags for Black women when choosing a doctor for womb health. Sorry, for women that's primary. It's connected to everything. So most of the time we're thinking that first, unless we grew up going to an obstetricianist. You know, um, that usually is our primary doctor. But a lot of us, either we went with our mother's doctors if we were lucky, or we got pregnant and the first obstetrician we seen, he become our doctor and stuff like that. But we don't purposely shop and choose a doctor. So we're not aware that we got red flag doctors, and then there's a lot of people that what the doctor says goes. No, 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 no. I grew up with a family with a bunch of nurses. Probably another reason why I didn't have to go to the doctor, because you got a family, a bunch of nurses. Sometimes they can treat you better than the doctor. Yeah. But anyway, so I know, I can question my doctor, and if I have a doctor that will not let me question him, he ain't gonna be my doctor. You know, that'd be the one and only time he sees me ever in life. So I don't quite get women who accept what they said, don't question them, don't have a question. I have a list of questions. I come to the doctor with things that concern me, things I'm curious about, things that I research in WebMD or something, or localized pain or any kind of pain. In fact, I have doctors who think there's something wrong with me if I don't have a question. At a doctor, he asked me, so do you have any questions? Usually at that time, I pull out my tablet and I go down my list of questions. And I don't care how ridiculous it sounds, how absurd it is, and stuff like that. And I like a doctor, if he don't know, he admits it, or if it's outside their field of specialty, he will find out. Or direct me to somebody who can answer those questions. Because sometimes I'll ask a question that you need a specialist for this. But that's me. Not everybody is me. Nobody had my experiences. Nobody, had. Not everybody had aunts and great aunts who were nurses, nurse practitioners, surgical nurses. Uh, I got a cousin who's not only she a nurse practitioner, midwife, a pediatric nurse. If I ever have a kid, I'm going to question her to death, and probably beg her to be my midwife. You know, hey Mella,
Hey, Dame Frankie.
hey.
I'm testing the reliability of my headphones that I've had forever. And I saw that you're live. I didn't catch everything because I didn't know how soon you were going to end the stream, right? So I checked out a little bit of the previous stream, or the previous
Okay.
time on this stream. And what I liked was that woman said, you know, life is a two-way street. You know, what you do when you cheat on somebody, don't be surprised when it comes back to you. And that's the gist of what that caught my attention because I think it's true. Well,
Yeah.
so what's happening since that? I'm
We
sorry I
did.
missed so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We did another big chronicle where it's talking about fake friends.
Mm.
Yeah, this woman was sabotaging her friend's relationship, was sabotaging her work and her business and stuff like that. And it came out. Another friend of theirs said, "Well, I overheard her saying this and that, and stuff like that." And then she came out, I was just so unhappy. Everything was going, you was doing so well, and I was not. Blah blah blah. And so we went into the, you know, be careful of your friends, really know your friends, and went into the Shaquilla Robinson case a little bit.
Mhm.
I might go ahead and show the video of the woman that one of the people I was listening to that was talking about it. But um, but there's not really too much new moving. I was explaining what was going on as far as that and the confusion about femicide. At least it was a little bit confusing for me because the definition of femicide I knew had something to do with a man. Um, okay, let me pull it up. The definition
Yeah,
I knew is the
it's
killing of
different.
a woman or girl, in
Mhm.
particular by a man, on account of her gender,
Okay.
and that was why it probably was given uh Dejanay Jackson that she might be trans because they charging her for femicide. But from what I from two or one of the two, but they going from the same source. Femicide in Mexico is anybody that has an intimate relationship with the woman that was killed. And they don't mean just
Mm.
intimate as in her lover, her husband, her man. They
Just
mean
close. They
someone
were.
you close.
They have a
It's-
record of them being, like having lunch. There's records out there where they've, like, been together, shopping, having lunch, things that girls do. They go to, when I say girls, I mean ladies. They go get pedicures and manicures together. That is also that's your outing partner. That's somebody that you have spent a lot of time with because you all go on outings together. It doesn't have to be sexual. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they got Dejanay. I think on one of her social media, she says Shanquilla is her best friend. The parents and family members and some other friends verified that Dejanay is supposedly one of her best friends. So that means that's an intimate relationship. Nothing more intimate than best friends. That's the person that's supposed to know you the best, have know your inner self and stuff like that, parts of
Right.
yourself that you keep hidden.
Right.
And the fact that a best friend beat her best friend so bad she killed her, it became a hate crime. Because only hate would drive you to hurt your best friend that badly. You know, you know.
Mhm.
So I was like, see, that's why the femicide came into play. I was like, oh, once I heard that, and and it didn't have to
Love and
be
hate are two sides of the same coin. It-
exactly.
mhm.
I was like, okay, that
Two
explained it.
wings of the same bird. You know, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
love and hate. It's a powerful. They're equally powerful. It's just that one introduces itself with no harm. The other introduces itself with harm. But they're very powerful.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Shooks. In that case, the Khalil person could also be charged with femicide. He may not physically, but he sure was. Wait a minute. I'm assuming.
A
Let me not
participant.
assume.
Khalil, was he
He
there?
allegedly recorded all
Oh, he
this.
was the recorder. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
allegedly he recorded it. He did not stop. Allegedly he was the one to tell her to fight back. And when she said no,
He was
you should have
complicit
jumped in
to let it
there.
go on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the men, especially Max the Black Knight, he is living with the guy. That's why he's fixated on the guy. You are the men. You're the leaders. You're supposed to be the protector. You're not supposed to let women fight each other and stuff like that. And and the fact that
Mhm.
you have the nerve to be recording this and she's naked, you know,
Yeah.
it all screams all kind of insanity that no men should be doing. First of
Mhm.
all, you're letting them fight. Second of all, when she said no, you didn't come to stop it. Third, you're recording and it went out on social media. I don't know whether you intended it or you was on automatic or you was uploading it to World Star. I wonder, did it go to World Star? But that's the way it is. World Star be having a whole bunch of women fighting half naked and torn,
Mhm.
clothes torn. So, it makes you think maybe that was in the plan.
Yeah, if they were staging it for World Star, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hmm.
That's so awful. That's so
Yeah,
awful.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So, why else would you record it? You plan to show it off to a bunch of people that felt like you, that, you know, you mad at her for some reason. She's getting her comeuppance or something.
That's really diabolical when you think about it. Because she paid for them to be there, and
Mm-hmm.
they're talking about, okay, we gonna pay you back by getting a video on World Star, or we just gotta set you up to get your ass beat,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. And it's like, damn, because I couldn't figure that. It's like, why is he asking her, damn, ain't you gonna fight back? It was like it was a staged. It was like it was pre-orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we're setting this up for something. Because I don't think this just happened haphazardly. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it was it was orchestrated. I'm not saying that the woman that passed away. I'm not saying she was in on it because
Mm-hmm.
we don't know that. What I will say, there's something really strange about that statement. Damn, ain't you gonna fight back, while he's sitting there recording it? That that gave me, you know, pre-orchestrated vibes. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was like it was planned to be recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And if so, why? Why was it planned to be recorded? If in fact that's the case, did they think they were going to upload something on World Star Hip Hop and get some money for that, and then they could pay her back the money that she paid to go on the vacation? But she was getting pummeled so bad, she was like, no. And they just, you know, took it too far, talking about, this is all hypothetical. This is a chance for us to pay you back, and you not going through with it, you know, or whatever, whatever is on these sick people's minds, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I put the scenario in different facets across my mind. Why in the he double hockey sticks did that boy say, "Damn, ain't you gonna fight back"? That just sound pre-planned. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody came in fighting and he just impulsively pulled out his cell phone, like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna record this." It didn't sound impulsive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it could have been. Of course, this is just speculation. I guess until those criminals fess up and it's proven that their confessions are facts, who knows what the situation is. But it
Yeah.
did sound pre-orchestrated to
Yeah.
me when he said, "Aren't you going to fight back?" That was weird. Because
Well.
most people, when it's impulsive, it'd be like, "Damn, damn, oh, she clocked over here. Oh shit, she pulled it down. Oh,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
the that's impulse." But
Mhm.
that what he said, that was weird. That
You know
was
what it sounds like? And I've seen it one other time. He instigated it. That's what it's.
Mm.
The only time I heard it calm like that, like you said, it usually be ooh damn and all that other stuff. This
Mhm.
guy, I'm not saying this one in particular, but the one I'm thinking of where I've heard it that calmly, he instigated a fight between his two women, his main girl and his side girl. Don't think we can figure out why he did it. One, he likes for women to fight over him. Two, his main girl was pregnant and he was hoping that fight would make her abort. We can never prove that second half, but that's what we suspect. Um, yeah, and he instigated, and they're like, "Ain't you gonna fight back?" But this is the difference. He told the side chick, "If you love me, you will fight for me." You know, and that's what he told the side chick. We had to stop because we knew she was pregnant. It's like, are you crazy? She's pregnant. And then she definitely didn't want to fight. But the main girl, she still wanted to fight. We had to grab her, stop her from beating up the side chick who stopped fighting because she realized the girl was pregnant. And it's like, no, no, no. I love him, but I'm not gonna fight no pregnant girl because she knows the what could happen. And we stopped her because the main girl is so mad, she's not thinking about it. So he was calm like that, and we knew that he set this up. We heard his friends when they heard us say she's pregnant, and they looked at him. Dude, you knew your girl was pregnant and you instigated this crap. He lost a couple of his friends over that. Cause they knew he instigated, but it's dudes that like to see women fight. But the fact that his girl was pregnant,
Mm.
and then he gave them both switchblades.
Mm, mm, mm.
So yeah. As for Black Republican, first of all, there was three girls, and as far as I know, none of them were her friends. That's the point. Reason why they didn't stop it because either they wanted to go have a go at her themselves, they weren't her friends or her real friends, they didn't care. But this dude who's recording allegedly is supposed to be her best friend. He should have been the main one protecting her, especially from the girls. Um, but but you see, that's why the Black Knight jumps on the guys. As far as he concerned, he shouldn't let them get to the point where they even one of them could have laid blows. If it already happened, once he said no, she said no, she wasn't going to fight back. He definitely should have stopped it. And that he's recording it is so doggone disgusting. That's similar to the guy who set up a fight between his main girl and his side chick, knowing his main girl is pregnant. His friends, even though they kind of liked the idea of two girls fighting because they imagined clothes ripping off, hair pulling. They did not imagine one switchblades. The old fashioned shaving switchblade blades,
Mhm.
and that the main chick is pregnant. They were disgusted. He lost his friends over that crap. Why? Even the guys who like to see women fight do not want them to be hurt that badly. Where one, she can lose a baby. Pregnant girls should not. And two, you do not give them switchblades. Because all they were thinking about torn clothes, titties out, women grabbing hair, fighting, maybe a little mud, rolling around in the grass. That's as far as their mind thing. They were thinking with their private parts. But when they realized how diabolical, depraved, disgusting, low down he was, they dropped him like a hot brick.
Mm.
So if you got men who thinking with their privates, who gonna drop you because that's how low you got. This is where this guy is at. He let two women, well, it wasn't even two women fighting, it was one fighting and the other one refused to fight. Then he was recording it. Yeah, one of them was naked, so that tantalized the private sector. The low down private don't care. All they want is eye candy, women rolling around naked, image in their head. The fact that she was getting beat up on, it was not no fight. Now it was a beat down. It was a stomping. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a little ranty raving.
Mm,
Mhm.
it's just sad. That's all.
Stop fixating on the women and stuff like that. Cause you not missing. You obviously missing the fact they were not her friends. Yeah, if they were her friends, they would have stopped the fight between the girls. But obviously, they were not. Cause we stopped the fight between our friends. And even though we weren't friends with the side chick, we protected her from the very angry, our very angry friend and stuff like that. And we protect our friend from getting in the middle of a fight. And we was disgusted with him. In fact, I decked her man, and I left him for the guys to finish off. Well, actually, I wasn't the only girl that hit him. Let me see. I decked him. Another girl punched him in the stomach. I think the solar plexus. I couldn't tell because the third girl kneed him. And we rotated as each one of them grabbed her, and then we hauled her away and was taking her home. And with the side chick following us and apologizing, boohoo and crying and saying she loved him, we was telling her to shut up, stop that crap. But hey, you see, you put me into a story. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Mel, I calmed down. I let it go.
No, it's,
Come
it's
back.
understandable. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. He gave them switchblades, man. Damn.
Hmm. I was like,
When
what?
you find out that you're friends with somebody that does stuff like that, it
Mhm.
is kind of, you know, it's impact. I don't even know if I can say it's. I won't say it's traumatic. What it does, it brings into question one's own sense of judgment. It's like, who am I where I didn't see that this person was like this? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Yeah.
it's different if you already knew they were like that and you just like forget it. They gonna do what they do. You know, there's some people that are, um, you know, that have that type of mentality where, you know, they consider somebody a friend even though they're the most low down creatures crawling the
Mhm.
planet. And
Mhm.
then you have some people that have principles about who they consider a friend. And, you know, so, when you consider somebody a friend and you find out that they're low down like that, it's almost emotionally traumatic. It's like, damn, I've been this person's friend and I didn't know they were like that. How is it that I didn't see this,
Mhm.
about them?
Oh yeah. 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 And that comes down to the same thing. Reason why it's such, I believe it has such an impact. It made you really look at your friends, and how are you with them? How they are with you? Because apparently, if you look at the comments, whenever they talk about Shaquilla Robinson, there's been women that went through similar things where they were attacked by friends while on vacation. They were or a party or a get together or someone their close friend invited someone that they had a beef with. There was one woman that drew my attention. She had to run over some people because they spotted each other. She tried to get away, and they were attacking her. And she jumped in a car, and they stood in front of her car. They was trying to drag her off. She had to gun her car. She had to run over somebody. The police was called and stuff like that. But they understood she was defending herself. Everything was showing that she was defending herself, and she was just trying to get away. And they believe if she hadn't run over the person she ran over, she would have been killed. But she went to court and over there, and she was not found guilty. But yeah, there's incidents, And it ain't just with with the women. There's been some with guys, but the women, because sometimes we try to just keep distance from that person, or we try to, like my mom had a friend who's never, if she wasn't in a good, she wasn't in a good situation, she could not be happy if my mom was having good things done. So my mom learned not to tell her anything, and they got further and further distance, it got down to the point where, they just didn't hang. She, as she said, I love her from a distance. See her, say hi, about what you're doing. When she was sick, my mom went to see about her, see if she was okay, needed anything, but she didn't linger. That's the way my mom is. And when my mom was sick, she showed concern about my mom and tried to help out as much as she could. But their friendship became distant. My mom said, "You gotta know your friends and accept them as they are. If you cannot accept them
Mm-hmm.
as they are, then you should not be friends with them, or they should not be friends with you. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with breaking a friendship or keeping a distance from each other, especially if y'all have violent interactions. It's better no, stay away from each other then."
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. I walked in the kitchen for a quick second. I got background noise. My bad.
Oh, okay. Okay, so as I said, okay, we kind of moved along from that. Okay, so I was moving into uh women's health. I came across this video of someone named Sasha Rosa, and she's talking about the red flags for Black women when choosing a doctor for wound health. Now she's talking about wound health, but she's also talking about doctors, period. Because as I was saying, I grew up, I um, I hadn't seen what they call it, the doctor for children, pediatrician. I didn't grow up seeing a pediatrician. I seen a pediatrician maybe 5 times in my life, and that was through the help unit for me to go to school, to have the physicals, or I had some kind of injury as a kid, not bad enough for me to go to the emergency room, but enough to go to the doctor, or I've been like real sick, and even then, I don't even remember too much seeing a doctor when I was really really sick. But we had a lot of nurses in the family, and treaters and nurse practitioners, and I think there was like one time where there was a doctor. I was too young. That's back in the days. In some places where the doctors could make house calls, but I don't think he was a doctor. I think he was the pharmacist. He was but I'm a kid. It's kind of vague there. I was running a fever, but I know women. Their primary physician is their gynecologist or their OBGYN, obstetrician, gynecologist, blah blah. Anyway, and that's the only doctor they know. It's the only doctor they seen. Um, and they don't. And most of the time, they didn't see them until they became pregnant, or they were going for birth control. You got to see a gynecologist for that, and that became their doctor, their primary for everything. But they just accept the doctor as is, accept whatever the doctor says, and stuff like that. They hardly notice any red flags. They don't question the doctors, um, and all kind of stuff. So I think we need to know more. Uh, okay, that's a matter of opinion, Black Republican. I don't think black men I don't think men pick good friends all the time neither. Um, cause they be instigating, they be trying to get y'all to do things. So you better look at your male friends too, and stuff like that. Um, because I don't think they're as good a friend as you think they are. But anyway, we're not getting off from my next topic, Black Republican. Um, yeah. So the red flags for doctor, not just for your wound help, but just doctors. Period. I learned from the nurses in my family. Doctors don't know everything. Questions, ask questions, and I learned from my aunts and my own personal experience. You got a doctor that does not like for you to ask questions. Are you questioning them? That should not be your doctor. And I've tested my doctors. I asked them all kind of questions, ridiculous questions, stuff I researched. And also, like, I found out like a doctor that if this is outside his field of specialty or he don't know, he'll say it and he'll research it, or he'll steer me to the doctor like, okay, this is a little specialized question. You need to speak to a specialist, and I can either ask a specialist and see what he says on that, or I can refer you to a specialist so you can ask these questions if this is what's going on with you. You know, I had a doctor ask him some of the questions. He thought I was sick the one time I did not ask any questions. It's like, oh, Miss Frank, do you have any questions? No, no, not today. Are you okay? Let me check your fever. Nurse, what's her blood pressure? Did you check her temperature? I think we need to check her temperature. Something's wrong. She don't have any questions. And I don't care how ridiculous they are. And I've asked some ridiculous one. He be grinning down like, no, I never thought. I said, really think about it, Let's see.
Yeah, because they get to know you, and when they realize that you're not, asking questions like you said, like that was your pattern, and
Mhm.
when you went outside your pattern, he was like, "Wait a minute, let's check her for a fever."
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, he knew me so well that we found out there was a medicine that was worsening had led me to congestive heart failure because I gained so much weight in 1 week. And he's like, "You taking your blood pressure medicine, your fluid pill?" Yeah, and stuff like that. He said, "No, no, no, you gain weight. I'm a big girl. Yeah, no, 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 not in that amount of time. That's way too much weight." He said, "Let's switch up blood pressure blood pressure fluid pill and see how that goes." Yeah, that's my experience with Lasix. I never want to do Lasix ever again.
What's
Okay,
Lasix?
it's a fluid pill.
Oh, okay, all right.
Mhm. Let's see what he got
I'm
here.
just asking.
Okay, Anthony Daniels said poor people should not have kids. He said it on Dr. Phil. Watch it on Dr. Phil YouTube channel. Fully agree with Anton on this. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Poor people shouldn't have kids. Yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Now, if poor people didn't have any kids, there would not be any people. All right. Yeah. All right.
Even when somebody has a lot of money, that doesn't mean that they're intellectually sound enough to be responsible for another human being. They might be, just crazy. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of crazy wealthy people out here that shouldn't be around children, let
Even more
alone
so.
have children. Hmm.
Especially in them areas where they do a lot of inbreeding. Yeah. Yeah. Rich people should not marry their cousins. Okay. I've been watching the Royal Family Tree too much. Okay. Yeah. Mm. But yeah, it's a nice idea in theory. But do you know that since maybe about 1% of the population is rich, how many peoples will we have? You know, and besides, there are people that just love kids. Shoot, I was watching a video. I think I might do that. He just loved his child. Shoots, the mother can barely get a chance to hold her child. The only time she gets a chance to hold her child is to feed him. That's it. Daddy is taking over everything. I got him. I watch him. You go rest. Because I was trying to make him go rest. Or you go have fun with your friends. Yeah, yeah. Some people just love their kids. Yeah, I know a guy who wants to have, let me see, wait a minute. Did he say a baseball team or football? Oh, no, baseball, basketball team worth of kids. Him and his wife.
That's a lot of stress on the uterus, man. Like that's
I
asking too
know.
much. I'm
I know. I
sorry.
was like, oh my goodness. Oh, and only with his wife. He's like, are you planning on having,
That's what I'm
an extra
saying.
woman? It's
They
like,
they want a woman to just uterus to just fall out because there's even if your hereditary bloodline constitutes your biology to be able to deliver children, in somewhat of a smooth manner, there is, that the repetition of that biological trauma that happens, because that is traumatic, okay? That's biologically traumatic. Your body goes through all kinds of changes. Um, not only carrying the baby, but giving birth. And there are certain nutritional requirements, all types of things that have to be considered in order to have a smooth delivery, right? So let's just say hypothetically you got a smooth delivery system on deck. You're still not accounting for the fact that the uterus has to expand and contract for a certain period of years throughout that woman's life. And that's going to affect the you know different processes in her body. So she's not going to escape from that with intact bladder. you know um I you know I just found this out. Now I have one son, right? I have one child. I
uh-huh.
just found out that women, when they have a certain number of children, there's this prolapse uterus thing that happens, and their bladder is affected, and just things change about them. They would be less healthy, with each child and we're not even talking about C-sections, Lord have mercy. So with each child delivered, that takes away a percentage of endurance. And when I say endurance, I'm talking about um the uterus itself. I'm not talking about like her life is
Hmm.
shaved off a couple of years. I'm talking about that particular area of the abdomen, like, you putting in that type of work. It's equivalent to a man that has to lift a certain amount of weight over his head on a regular basis, and the energy and strength that it takes to do that, it just taxes the body, So I don't know. I've never been in favor with women having like 9 children. Like that's crazy.
Hmm.
I've heard men say that they want like 10 kids.
Hmm.
Like by the same woman. Like, man, listen, that's cruel and unusual punishment on your uterus. At the same time, throughout history, there are women who have grown up to be grandmothers, great grandmothers that have lived to be 80, 90 years old, and they have a record of maybe, like they've been pregnant 14 times, but they've had 12 living children. So I guess it can be done, but we don't have these women telling us what like those women that had to go through that before birth control and all that stuff. I haven't found any type of interviews of these women that have had 14 children. Like, it's like, what do you say were the repercussions of having 14 children? Like, well, what do you say were the repercussions of having 9 children, 7 children? Like, what would you say? Now, there's some women that have had like maybe 6, 7 children, but as far as 8 and more, I want to find interviews of those women. It's like, what would you say happened to your body as a result of doing that? Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right or what? I want to know because that shit. That like I said, one was enough. I wasn't going through that anymore. I wasn't.
Well, the common denominator I've seen the found talking with a few of the elders that had that many children, that man was very good in bed to persuade her to risk getting pregnant again. It made her forget about that they could actually be making a baby when they're doing these things.
There is a forgetting that yeah, there is a forgetting that it was so painful, and next thing you know, here it is months later, he talking you back into it again. So there's got to be some type of forgetting that occurs. There's got to be. I can, yeah, I would imagine that's the case.
Yeah. Also, let me see. Let me see. They tried the rhythm method. They all agreed the rhythm method does not really work as a preventative from pregnancy. It kind of gives you a control enough where you have enough time for your body to heal up for that before you get caught again. Because women fertility things could mess with it, or mess up the cycle and stuff like that. Or it could change up, or it can multiply, or it could, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Anything could
so
happen to change your hormone cycle off. Yeah.
mhm, yeah. So the rhythm method did not really work. Not to mention, if you look into and did the rhythm method, men would never be satisfied because from what I can see, you have a window between 1 to 3 days where it's safe to have sex and she not get pregnant. A month. A
And
month.
they can't even do that right. That's what I'm saying. They can't even do that right. It's
Yeah,
like, well, you can't wait 3 days, brother. Really?
and the ones that know how to turn their woman on into forgetting, they almost the worst ones because they know, okay, she's sleeping. Let me do kissing. I know what switches to flip to turn her on. And by the time she wakes up, she's not gonna say no because she's enjoying what I'm doing so much. So man, you better learn how to turn your woman on. They did it all.
That's, that's
Whatever,
wild.
whatever it works to turn the woman on. I mean, I've heard of a man who cleaned the house, got the kids out of the house, sent them to his parents' house, and and bathed his woman and cook and fed her like she was a 2 year old. I mean, fed her. She did not get to touch her plate. He fed her. He bathed her. He massaged her and stuff like that. If a man is willing to do all that, clean the house, well, with the help of the kids, top to bottom, get rid of all the kids, send them over to the grandparents, cook for her, bathe her, rub her feet, feed her, massage her, and do all kind of other extra stuff to get it. Are you sure y'all want to be back in y'all grandpa's days? You know all the stuff they did. They still did that. That's why some of them pawpaws got these young ones because they're willing to do all that. They patient. Okay. Anyway, I'm just messing with y'all. But yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So um, yeah. Even birth control is not 100%. You know, because one, you might get a woman who bodies adapts to that birth control, and the birth control is no longer effective. You might get one where, okay, for you guys that like to get your woman drunk or have her drinking and smoking, you lowering the effectiveness of her birth control when you do that. Yeah, not to mention, I think it's against the law if she's drunk. I don't care if she said yes, she's drunk. You can't trust anything she says. Anyway, yeah. So you messing with the effectiveness of the birth control. If she's on antibiotics, pay attention to what she's taking and stuff like that. Say, hey, babe, what's that? You okay? Some antibiotics my doctor gave me for sinus infection, whatever. They give you, because I had sinus infection, asthma, and bronchitis and stuff. They give me antibiotics a lot. That mess was the effectiveness of all the chemical ingested intake, the injected birth control. Oh, they don't tell you that neither. And that depending on how long she's been on birth control, it becomes less and less effective. That's why after a certain age, she has to get off of it because then it becomes dangerous if it ain't already dangerous for her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the barrier methods. They have to worry about is if there's holes in it and stuff like that. Oh, and we're talking about from diaphragm. What's I'm thinking of? You see, it's been so long, I'm starting to forget my birth control. Diaphragm, condoms. In fact, uh, women, you willing to guys too willing to spend some money. There is a condom company somewhere out of straight. I keep forgetting to go do research on that. I found them one time where you can make the condoms thicker, and you guys like, man, why would I want to make it thicker? I can barely feel anything with the condom. Dude, if it's thicker, it's less likely to break, bust, unless you deliberately put a pinhole in it and stuff like that. So thicker is better. hmm But since you guys don't be thinking about that, for you girls, you women, you young ladies out there who's sneaking and watching this, or y'all sitting with your moms and going, invest in thicker condoms. Yeah, and the even funnier part about this company, you can have them uh design the size. So if your guy is bigger, smaller, the circumference, his girth is bigger or smaller, you can have it built to fit his particular size. I gotta find that Oh, and you know what? They sent you a little measuring tape, and they tell you how to measure the length and the girth. You'd be like, well, why would I need to know how to measure the length? Uh, there's things you gotta take into account. Some condom goes from the testes to the tip. Other condoms go from the back of the testes to the tip, plus the reservoir. In case for you girls who you've been told all your life, use condom, use condom. Make sure he use a condom. But you never opened the packet before. Yeah, yeah. Like my mom told me about condoms since I was 10.
Yeah, they teach you about condoms. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, well, you see, back then they told you about condoms, but I never actually seen it outside of the pack. I seen the pack of condom, the little in the foil, but I never seen it taken out and showed the proper way to use it until we went to the summer for my aunt. And I kept cousin with these. I have she has more she has a bunch of sons. And I'm like, what's up with all these balloons all over the place?
The
It's all over
balloons.
the toilet. I was like, and she's like, balloons? Because she was fussing at them, get them disgusting things out there. And I went to help out. Don't you touch that. You don't know where they've been. It's just a balloon. A balloon. Okay. So it was me and a bunch of my cousins. I said, okay, who else thinks it's a balloon? So me and my other two female cousins, we raised our hand. We thought it was a balloon. Oh my goodness. Didn't your mama tell you about condom? Yes. What do you think a condom look like? I don't know. It's only been in a little while. It's some kind of thing that goes over the the what I was 11, almost 12, so I was I was
The
embarrassed to
dingaling. I think at about that age, we used to say dingaling back
say,
then.
yeah,
The
it's like,
thingy. The
yeah,
thingy.
yeah, his private parts, you know, because it's my aunt, I'm lumping her in with my great aunts and stuff like. Well, she technically is. She is my great aunt, um, because she married my great uncle. So anyway, um, and she said, "Oh, but no, what is your mom teaching y'all? Did she tell you about?" Yes. Wait a minute. Did she ever open it? No. Did she ever show you how to put it on?
She
No,
never
I'm not a
opened
boy.
it. She,
Oh, she said, okay. Since y'all here with me, they shouldn't have sent you here for the summer. They didn't want you to know. So, boys, hand me one of them condoms. Give it here. You're already blowing them up like balloons. Give them here. Okay, so we had a brief lesson. She opened the condom and she showed us the condom. Oh, and then she showed us using her fingers, holding it like a gun. She showed us how you're supposed to put it on. Oh, okay. And said, now you know how to use it. Now you know how it's supposed to be used. You put this on any boys you messing with. They're like, oh, auntie, don't auntie me. Y'all ain't fooling me. And don't come here with no babies.
she
Okay.
laid it down just like that. She was like, "This is how this works. You use it. Don't bring home no babies."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got threatened. You bring home. You get pregnant. Bring home. You leaving out of my house. You grown enough to get to have a baby. You grown enough to be on your own. I don't know if she would have actually done it, but I took it seriously. That's why my
They
fear of
threaten it though.
pregnancy
They
was
do. Yeah.
stronger. She
They
might kick me out for a while. I don't know. I don't know. I never tested it. I never tested it. Uh-uh. I was too much aware of it. I was one of them friends that when when your other friends are mad at their mama and they ranting and raving, can't you how can I said, can you stand it? She gotta know where you going, when you going, when you gonna be back, la, 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 and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, she needs to know because she wants to keep you safe. Ah, she's trying to ruin my life. I'm a grown woman and stuff like that. How Stan treat you like a little girl? I said, cause she paid the rent, she paid the utilities, she paid the groceries. I was very much aware of all these things and stuff like that. So I was not getting kicked out of the house. I was not going to be going to stay with my grandparents. Oh no, that was servitude. I There was nothing in my life going on that was worth arguing with my mama over. But I had friends all around me. 16 was the magic number where they bump heads with their mothers. Hmm.
yeah, 16. That's yeah, 16-year-olds, they give their parents a lot of grief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially to mothers, because I've seen ones that they have their dads. Dads leave it to mom and daughter to duke it out. She calls them towards them like, listen to your mother. Unless it's something that she's considered doing as dangerous. Pretty much he stays out of it. Nope, nope. That's two women. Let them duke it out. And he'll leave it to it. Now, if it's concerning some boy, oh, then he was gonna step in. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If it's her boyfriend or something like that, or she's sneaking out to meet a boy, yeah. Huh. But as I said, there was nothing. I didn't want to sneak into clubs because I thought club was the icky trap where you get trapped by dirty old men and stuff like that. Because in my days, it's possible for teenagers to go in a bar. They don't necessarily get to drink anything. But then again, I live in a small town. I was able to go in the bar and pick up a beer from my mama. I could do this at 7 years old. I I go into the stores at 7 years old and pick up and buy a beer for my mom. They didn't question me. There was no ID. They knew me. It was for my mom. Small town life, Can't do that nowadays. But yeah, and there was always dirty, perverted old men. They had to know we were 10, 11, 12. Mm-mm. I didn't want no sugar daddy. I didn't want no old man. I didn't want no type of daddy whatsoever. If he wasn't my biological daddy, who's being a daddy to me, he wasn't being called daddy. The only daddy I had was my grandfather, and that's no, yeah, oh, dirty old men. Oh my goodness, and dirty old men ruined everything for me. That's why I hate when these guys talk about going after these young girls. We get messed with enough. You don't know what it's like when you can't eat ice cream cones and popsicle sticks or anything phallic looking. Shooks, can't even eat ice cream sandwiches. You can't lick nothing. You can't suck on anything. Oh, shooks, I gotta stop that. I got a bunch of guys in here for ladies' night. You can't. Or okay, especially in my time period, you fall in a line where you're being a lady and you're being polite, but you're dealing with a dirty old perverted man, and you gotta walk that narrow line of being a polite lady and avoiding the dirty old man at the same time. You know what extremes had to do? One dirty old man, he was right in my route for school. If we go as a group, which is usually those who manage to get up early enough, and we can all avoid him because there's a whole group of kids. Hey, so bye bye, and we go. As long as we follow our manners and acknowledge and talk and say it's good morning, good afternoon, whatever to whatever adults in the vicinity, we're allowed to move along. But when you are a late sleeper and you're a straggler, you get halted, supposedly to be lectured about being late for school while being made to be late for school. But no, what they don't know is that he's making suggested remarks or he's looking at you weird and you're very uncomfortable. And he wants to hug you, but he wants to hug you a little too long, a little too tight. Yeah. Sorry, women. I didn't mean to bring up some bad memories. Sorry about that. You know how I had to avoid him? I had to hurry up before he steps out the house to spot me. He had these bushes. I had to squat walk. That means I had to get in squat position and walk past his bushes so he couldn't see me. And then when I got to his last bush, get into the runner stance and take off running. And if he happens by, hey, I'm running late, bye, and do that. Yeah, you're talking about 20-year-olds, but y'all got perverted guys in the manosphere who are talking about 16-year-olds.
Predators.
Yes, y'all got in your groupings predators. You got guys who are saying that if a child has a baby, she's now considered a woman. We got 10, 12, 14, 16, 17-year-olds. All of them could be pregnant at the same time. But because of their standard, because she had a baby or got pregnant and was able to have a baby, she is now considered a woman. Not to mention, we got 10-year-old who's so developed, they look like grown freaking women. I know a 10-year-old. Well, she was 10 at the time. Now she's about 12. This girl is 5'9". She got the behind of a grown woman. Luckily, she's still flat-chested, but because she's so tall and she got that junk, People keep seeing her as a grown woman. She has to keep her hair into little girls. I'm talking about little 5, 6, 7-year-old
But
girls
see, even that doesn't work.
hairstyle.
When it comes to a predator,
Mm-hmm.
they want what they want. It doesn't matter how that child, that potential prey, downplays it, right? She could be, she could look like Shirley Temple, and they'll still try to go for it because they're predators by nature. That's who they are.
Yeah, yeah, but she don't understand that. In her child mind, she think they're after her because she looks grown. She don't know that the more she looks like a
Hmm.
girl, the more they after her.
I had a coworker. She was obese, right? I haven't talked to her in years. However, when I worked there, you know, they always made fun of her size. They called her Big Bird, all that other kind of stuff. And, me being a defensive person, I would always, say snapback remarks to whoever was messing with her because she wasn't the type of person to overreact. I was.
Mm-hmm.
And because I liked her, I wasn't, nobody better not say anything to make her feel bad in my presence. So, flash forward. Um, for whatever reason, she confided in me that she had been sexually assaulted as a child. And she realized that the bigger she got, the less that men found her attractive. And she just got in the habit of just eating. Um, she became what's called an emotional eater.
Mm-hmm.
And, so even though she knows she's big and or knew she was big at the time, because this was years ago, she knew she was big and she didn't like it, because she would always say, she was like, thanks for speaking up for me, but I know I'm fat, that type of thing. I was like, but that's not the point. He ain't got no business saying that. I was just, she was like, no, 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 I know I'm fat. And, one day she just told me, like, I'm an emotional eater. It started from the time I realized that as I got bigger, men didn't come up to me that much. And I needed that peace of mind because as she told me, she was sexually assaulted. She didn't describe the sexual assault. She was about to. I was like, no, you ain't gotta, relive it. Just, I understand. And so, you know, I said all that to say that the problem with these predators is that they don't know what type of harm they're doing to their targets. Like once, people that the girls that they prey upon, God forbid they so-called catch their prey, there's irreversible damage that occurs, and it can manifest in different ways, either from a woman engaging in self-harm to the point where she kills herself, or she's doing self-destructive behaviors
Mm-hmm.
that she has to try to reevaluate and manage back into a more healthier state, or she becomes a predator herself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm it, in the event that I would ever have it my way, I think all predators would be eradicated from life's existence. They're a danger to society and they have to go. If you can't control yourself, there's something wrong with you and we don't need to be burdened with it. And that's what I think about predators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Is it interesting you said about her her being fat and she knew and is almost a um my aunt mentioned that
That defense yeah, that was
it
her
isn't
defense.
is it mm-hmm. Yeah, because she said that is one of the signs. Either it becomes a defense mechanism or um, there's a predator out there that encourage the weight gain because it forced their body into maturity sooner, and she dealt with that type of predator. Um, So either the weight gain is self defense or is an after effect of dealing with that type of predator.
I have to agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, stop harping on the fat girls. That's why. Oh, I ran into one. Um, she okay. Whenever she would lose weight, because she could lose weight, and whenever she loses and she gets to a certain size, she have a freak out and she start binging, and she undo everything. Turn out what it was, she was molested, and it was a defense mechanism, and she never got over because when she got smaller, the fear would take over, and she would binge back into
Right. As soon as they
television.
start looking attractive again, and they know because a person is aware of what they look like, right? And as soon as they start peeking that they're attractive again, there's this panic that strikes over them, like, oh shit, somebody's gonna be flirting with me before I know it, and I don't want that. And next thing you know, they start going back into those self-destructive behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Yeah.
think. Is that what you
So,
were saying?
yep.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, so she had to see a therapist or was it a psychiatrist. I think she started off seeing a therapist
Does that
because found
even
out why
work
she was
though?
doing it. Hmm? Huh?
Does that even work for people that do that? Like I've seen disturbed women that have gone to, they've been involved in therapy for most of their adult lives, and as far as I know, they just become best friends with their therapist, but they don't change.
Well, it depends on what it is they're going for. Are they going to find out why they're doing what they're doing? Are they going there because they need somebody to talk to? The
But
ones that
yeah,
just get, you know,
yeah, they're
mhm.
going there for results. I'm starting to think that the healthcare system isn't interested in healing people. I'm starting to think that it's some kind of systematic setup of a revolving door. Like, whatever, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do to follow a step by step plan to your resolution. What I'm going to do as a medical participant of this healthcare system that needs to go on so I can keep a job is keep you on the hook thinking something's wrong with you so you can keep coming back to me. That's what I'm starting to believe. Like, and this took me like a half a century to figure out. I was like, the healthcare system is a revolving door in some aspects. You know, how many people are getting actual resolutions to their issues, their healthcare issues? Like, you know,
Well,
I, it wasn't
well,
until I refer, like something happened to me medically
hmm
that was like jaw dropping, you know, and for whatever reason, I was able to rehabilitate myself for myself. You know, had I gone to the VA, like just say that day that I woke up panic stricken, like what the hell is happening to me? You know,
hmm
I'm serious because I'm not gonna get specific because as we all know that, you know, people, you know, they capture personal information and next thing you know, it's going elsewhere. So I'll be as informational but discreet at the same time as possible. So in order to get somebody to understand where I'm coming from about my suspicions as to why I doubt that the healthcare system exists to actually heal you towards a resolution. Had I gone to the VA healthcare system for that, I woke up one morning talking about what the hell is happening to me moment. Um, um, there are people that were in circumstances like that before where they ran off to the VA, you know, and put themselves in their care to resolve a medical issue. And, you know, and my issue had to deal with my legs, by the way. I had, you know, I had I was already borderline diabetic, right? And I was I didn't realize that I was pushing myself to the edge to where um I might as well get explicit, fuck it. Um I woke up one day and I couldn't feel my left leg, right? I mean, just couldn't feel it. It was dead. It was like what the, you know, and being athletic all my life, that's never happened to me before. Now I kind of know what sparked it on. It was a combination of things that I know now, which made that occur only because of my study, like my commitment to the study of the anatomy, right? And what I will say is that in that moment, my instinct, as God would provide, wasn't call 911 and go to the emergency room, or, it wasn't none of that. It was just like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This doesn't just happen out of the clear blue. Let me trace back, like, okay, what did I do yesterday? And I thought about the fact that I ran real hard, which was something that I don't usually do. I usually stretch first. I usually prepare my body to run that hard just to see if I still got it. But I didn't do it that day. I just challenged myself, like, I'm going to run real hard. I'm going to just dart out the door and do, just run as fast as I can for a particular amount of time, and to see if I still got it. Because, I used to do that all my life, just to test my endurance, right? So I did it the day before. So I know I did that. And I hadn't slowed up on having a lot of sugars. I was still into my peach cobbler. Okay. I was and ice cream. Okay.
Yeah.
And just stuff that I shouldn't have, that I hadn't had in a long time. I treated myself the day before. I had a lot of sweets, and I tested, and I guess I was rewarding myself because I was still under that I got it, type of thing. So it was like me rewarding myself, and all that sugar that my body wasn't accustomed to, in addition to overexertion. So anyway, I woke up and I couldn't feel my leg. I was panic stricken, sort of, but obviously not all the way to call for emergency intervention. I was like, okay, before I hit the panic button, since we got this thing called the internet, I'm going to find out who in the fuck has this happened to before and what did they do about it? And I just started going through all these word searches and everything. And eventually I got to something where it was like diabetes. It was always diabetes. Like if you wake up and you can't feel your legs, diabetes. And I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm not trying to hear this shit, because that means that I gotta, take all this type of pills that the VA gonna give me, and everybody that I know who have done that is dead, or they just worse off than they were when they went in. And I was like, there's got to be something else. And sure enough, as God's providence would have it, I ran across a chiropractic site that was talking about nerve impingement, and it started off with, how to be able to lift something. Like there are people that have a nerve impingement where they can't lift their arm all the way over their head like they used to, which wasn't my problem. I could lift my arms over my head. Hell, I could still lift stuff up. It was my leg. But that phrase, I said, nerve impingement. Do you know, dang Frankie, do you know that it was just a matter of time with my frantic researching that I was able to correlate the fact that neuropathy diagnosis that hospitals give you is a billable term. What is actually going on in the anatomy is a nerve impingement. That's what's actually going on in the anatomy and biological function of your body. There has been an interruption of the nerve. Like, and so then I started sticking with the chiropractic site. I was like, okay, I want to know more about this nerve impingement that's not billable. Nerve impingement is not a billable service in the healthcare system. That's not billable. But neuropathy is. But they're the same shit, right? And I was like, wait a minute. So, of course, I did everything that I could to find out what it takes to release, the lymphatic, it's a complicated process, but basically it starts off with a whole lot of fucking massaging and leg elevation. It's a process that takes quite a while, but it doesn't include taking pills, right? And so I was willing to do. I was like, so I started beating my calf, right? I started beating my calf with like I was in a fight. I started beating my calf, and then next thing you know, I was able to wiggle my toe and I was able to rotate my ankle. And I was like,
Mhm.
damn, they own to something with this nerve impingement shit. So I started beating the fuck out of my leg and just massaging it and massaging it. I started trying to see what I could do to crack my toes like I used to. You know how you pull your toes, you crack your toes. And
Uh-huh.
the shit was working. I could start feeling my leg again. I was like, I'll be dog. Oh, I just got to work on this. And so, of course, I started researching about, how, apparently I'm not the type of person that needs to have a whole lot of sugar in their life and all
Mhm.
types of stuff. And next thing I know, sometime thereafter, I've rehabilitated this function to where I can skip, hop, and jump and run. Not like I'm not trying no Olympic shit no more. Okay. I'm just saying that if I had to, do a little sprint, I could do it without falling down. Because trust and believe, there was a period of time where I was damn near like, how the fuck am I supposed to walk? It shit was crazy. And it just so happened, Dame Frankie, that I had there was this guest, right? That they walked with a cane, and the cane, I want I tried to get them a gift of a decorative cane.
Uh-huh.
It was made out of this really pretty wood. I saw it at a resale shop. I was like, oh, they might like this. It's a little bit more attractive. And so I just had it sitting around. And so, I was able to hobble my ass over there to where that cane was. And I was using that to get around the house while I'm looking up this chiropractic information. And I was able to get my ankle and leg and everything to work again long enough to where, it worked out. It worked out because anyway, the point is, back to the point. The point is, the healthcare system is a blessing. Don't get me wrong. It has saved many lives. I'm not saying that it's a doom and gloom walking through the door. What I'm saying is there are some circumstances where their intervention is not necessarily the cure. Okay? Because
Uh-huh.
they're there to manage symptoms, not necessarily cure it. And because especially when you consider that they're basically professional drug dealers, basically. And they're really quick to give you pills that don't operate well with your digestive system because they're man-made. So they
Mhm.
have all, so then, the pill that you take for something, next thing you know, you got another problem on top of it. They give you a pill for that. Then you got another problem and they give you another pill for that. And there's a reason for it because they're, you know, we're not looking at the cause. We're not, when I say we, I'm talking about those of us that wake up hitting the panic button like, oh shit, this is the worst pain I ever had in my life. Or, oh shit, my leg is asleep, or it's a little bit more than asleep. This shit ain't work. There's more to healing toward resolution than what the healthcare system is providing, because the pharmaceutical company is only interested in making sure the healthcare system is slinging their drugs. And that's my point. And I just want everybody to be mindful that there's nothing wrong with the prescriptions that you take. There's nothing wrong with your physician advising you. Yes, your doctor cares about you. Okay. They're not evil. They're not evil. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is a such thing as a second opinion. There's always options. So,
Mhm.
so if you're afraid, because I only mention it because you said there's a certain medication you're never taking again. There's a reason for that. Your body is telling you like, no, chick, this ain't the lick.
Mhm.
Your body is telling you that, and
Yeah.
and only you Only you know what your body is not accepting. And
Mhm.
when we allow these doctors to just say, keep trying it, they're only thinking about the literature that was produced and sponsored by a pharmaceutical company.
Mhm.
Okay, doctors, in essence, they only do what they're told to do according to the literature they're provided and the education they have received, which more likely than not have taught them to obey. Just obey the literature. That's what doctors are taught. They're taught to
Yeah.
obey, memorize, and be able to recite and refer to the literature. They're not thinking about holistically the entire anatomy of the body. Only certain practitioners are head to toe aware.
Mhm.
Only certain practitioners. But for the most part, that's why they send people to an oncologist. That's why they send people to a psychiatrist. That's why they send people to a nephrologist, whatever. They
Mhm.
send people that have different specialties when in fact it's just one body. We should be able to map out what's happening from head to toe and troubleshoot where the problem is. But a lot of doctors in this modern Western medicine, they're only trained in a specialty like that. Like there's only a hand doctor, there's only a dentist, there's only a nerve specialist, there's only a podiatrist, there's a
Cardiologist, um,
yeah,
cardiologist, lung
they only
doctor,
know one section of the
inflammation.
body they only know one section of the body at a time instead of understanding the head to toe effect and how everything intricately is involved with making the whole body operate smoothly. They only looking at one section. Like you got a knee doctor over here, you got a ear doctor over there, you got a throat doctor, you got a eye doctor. It's like the body is is a is a it's a one whole thing. It's one whole thing. If people can read schematic diagrams, they can figure out how the whole body works and what's causing blockage or interruptions with it. Now, I'm not saying that we can live forever. I'm just saying that when you know how the whole body works, like for instance, like if there's a pain in somebody's right shoulder, oftentimes it's an organ in the lower left quadrant that's affecting it. You know, I didn't know that shit until I looked it up. You know, and it makes sense the way they put it together. You know, but you go to a hospital and you tell them like, "Oh, I got all this right shoulder pain." I was like, "Well, here, take this Motrin and keep taking it. Make sure you take it with food and water." But they don't tell you that Motrin is tearing up your stomach.
Or your
Whether
liver.
you take food or milk with it or not, it's tearing up your stomach because it's a man-made medication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think people need to stop going to emergencies anyway. I just went with a mother, take the child to the emergency room, had fever, turned out he had the flu. The hospital treated him for the fever, didn't give him anything for the flu. Okay, the temperature went down, then it jacked back up, went up a little higher. So,
That's because
uh,
they gave them an antibiotic, and antibiotics don't cure viral infections. There's a lot of that crap going around too. They giving people antibiotics for viral infections, and that's that's not that's not what you're not supposed to give somebody an antibiotic for a viral infection. And furthermore, antibiotics also tear up your immune system, so
mhm,
you're prone to get sicker as a result of taking an antibiotic you didn't need in the first place. I'm sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
yeah. So she took him to the pediatrician. The pediatrician is mad at the hospital, but they didn't give him anything for the flu, just a little something for the fever. They didn't give him any medicine. They and he said that they've been doing that. And he told her, don't send him to the emergency room. He said, if you cannot bring him to me in the morning or call you, go to the urgent care and stuff like that. They'll do more than the hospital will and stuff like that. And he been telling all his patients that.
Ain't that
You
something?
know, don't take them to the emergency room. Hmm. Yeah, because we got the flu going on around here. We got COVID
That's what
going
I'm saying.
around.
That's what I'm saying. The flu and COVID, those are viruses, and they was giving people antibiotics for a virus, which made them sicker. It was crazy. My mother, she was ill, and she was talking about um how she was gonna get a prescription for antibiotic. I was like, don't you take that shit. You'd be better off just drinking some garlic water than taking that shit. Like, don't do that.
Hmm.
Don't do that, because that you know she's too old for her stomach to be tore up like that. The older we get, the less acidity we have in our stomach to break down food, and taking that antibiotic is just gonna make it worse.
Hmm.
Is there a place for antibiotics? Of course, there's a place for it. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just saying that, find out what as you say, the urgent care says first before going straight to the emergency room, because they just gonna try to, prescribe you something
Get you in and out.
and get you in and out like a revolving door, child.
Hmm. Yeah. And shoot, sometimes, one time it works out well to me is if you get the right doctor. Like when I was having an emergency situation, I've been to the emergency room quite a few times. Even had the incident in the emergency room. They still don't know what's going on. I had one in the emergency room. Just so happened the doctor on call to work the emergency room that day was a cardiologist. The only problem was they didn't have the equipment that needed to see what's going on. Said he knew it was something going on with my heart, but he couldn't tell what it was because he didn't have the equipment. He said, I have a choice between going to New Orleans or Shreveport. To because they have the equipment. They have the what's needed. And he wrote it all
Right.
up and we went. It took him a while, but it was definitely something going on with my heart. Hmm. Yeah. But all them other times I went in the emergency room, it's nothing, or you seem to be fine now. You can go home. Even when I was having episodes, as they was trying to get me
And
home.
they never referred you to go get the what they never referred you like that cardiologist. You see, that's the providence of God, child.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
God is good.
yeah. Thank goodness the cardiologist was on duty that night or that evening.
It was God's will. It was
Hmm.
God's will. Just God forbid that he wasn't there.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah,
That's just God's will, child.
yeah.
You were meant to be here.
Once
Okay?
they once they discover, once I was doing well, I'm trying to get back to work. Because I lost my job. I was finna start another job, and my doctor, once I got back home, had to sit me down, had a conversation with, no, young lady, your heart and your lungs been through a lot. You need at least a year for your body to recover. Give your heart and lungs time enough to heal. He had to explain it to me in a way to understand how close I came to death. He said, you was on the railroad tracks and a train was coming, and just as the train was about to hit you, you stepped off the track and the train just narrowly missed you. That was you and death.
Mm-hmm.
You need to recover. I was like, what? I was like, damn. Yeah. Hmm. Cause right now, young lady just had a baby. She's already trying to go back to work. But she's already going back to work. She said, I'm healed enough. I stopped the bleeding. I'm fine. There's no unusual occurrence. The baby is fine. I need to go back to work. And I'm like, what? Why are you trying to get back to work so quickly? But it's like, she said, I couldn't talk her out of it. It's like, you ain't even 6 weeks in. She's like, maybe maybe 4 weeks in.
Now, see, then that's the shame of this country. She should have paid time off to recuperate from that. But this country, they just do women so wrong. They know that the woman has had a child, and she was working, and she deserves to be able to get paid family leave. She deserves that
Yeah.
so she can return. She deserves to have a job, not only have a job waiting for her, but also get paid while she's recuperating. I mean, what did they think we was gonna do with the money? Okay, that's the shame of it. It's
Yeah.
like the insinuation is you think we trying to hustle the system while we recovering from childbirth? Are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a medical necessity to recover from childbirth. And to not provide the legislation what all women get to keep their not only get to keep their job and come back to their position, but also get paid the same salary while they're absent, while they're recuperating. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they only do that for like, certain, dare I say, jobs. Like if you're a state employee, or some other corporations that got, family leave coverage and stuff. But for the everyday working person
Mm-mm.
that's trying to make it, they,
Yeah,
I
women
don't know, man.
are
This
fighting
country
to
is
get
crazy.
You know what's sad? Women are fighting to get the laws on the books for 6 weeks of paid maternity leave. That is not enough
And
time, not just to heal, but to stay
that's
in the
not
same
enough
place.
time. It should be
Mhm.
a year.
If she's lucky, she got a job where she gets 3 months paid leave. She get a job where she has 6 months paid leave. That's if she's lucky and she got a real good job with really good benefits.
Now the
Okay.
argument, I guess,
Mhm.
would be like, what if she having a child every year? Like while she got that year off, what if she has another? Obviously she got that year off. What's to say that she's not gonna go ahead and get pregnant again and again and again and again? So what? We supposed to keep her job
Well,
open? We supposed to keep that slot open while she keep having babies? So that's the argument. They don't. They think it's an incentive to take advantage as opposed to something benevolent to offer, because they could make some conditions. It's like,
yeah,
okay, under the conditions that you're off for this year, in the event that you pregnant again, then you lost your job,
yeah, yeah.
because we're going to grant you this paid off year, and that's what we're granting you for to recover from having a baby, which is a biologically traumatic experience. So we're
Mhm.
gonna give you this year's pay, and come back in a year. However, if you call yourself having another baby, you can't come back,
Mhm.
because then you're taking advantage of the
Yeah,
of the of that situation. So
yeah.
they could make
Well,
some amendments. They ain't
yeah.
got to just come up with the argument like they could just gonna take advantage. No, you can make amendments. They don't. They just don't want to do it.
No, they don't want to do. And this is the tripped out part. Okay, not that I have an issue with that Roe versus Wade's turnover. Okay, I'm fine with the no abortion. I think that's just that's just killing the child. Even though I'm pro-choice, I still think it's killing the child. But they try and encourage women to have children. Now, in other countries that's trying to encourage women to have children, they pay women to be stay-at-home moms.
Exactly.
Why would you not? This is how no good our country is. They are so racist that if they can't just pay their women to be stay-at-home moms only, they rather nobody can get it. It's like if it can't be just
And
our
because
women, then
mm,
nobody can get it.
and because they've taken all the jobs, the family wage earning jobs from men, because there was a time when a man could make a family earning wage by himself. So he had everything covered for his woman and his children. He had everything covered. There was a time that existed, but then they came up with this NAFTA agreement, took all these jobs out of the country. And so now it's more likely than not there has to be a two income household. And if the woman is having a baby and you all need those two incomes, that's additional pressure. That they just trying to stress people to death, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and then because they let certain things slip, I'm probably going to get us in trouble with this because they trying to change the terminology of what is a woman and stuff like that. Then it's going to become what is a mother, and and that's another reason, probably why
Oh,
they don't
I
want
never
to
thought about it
do
like
that.
that.
That's probably another reason why they don't want to do that. If you're going to have pay-at-home moms, and if you can be a female because you feel like a female, or it can means you can't be a mom because you feel like a mom. And because I feel like a mom, I want to stay at home and take care of my kids. I think I should get paid to take care of my kids too. Just because I start off life as a
This
male
this
does not
world is
mean I cannot be a good mother. I can see it happening
yeah,
because men
yeah.
are jealous. Women cannot have anything, just be us. No, 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 no. Because of course, if we're gonna be pay-at-home moms, and stuff like that, because we might slowly catch up with Europe. We're gonna be way behind these other countries. Pay that might be a good idea. Pay at home. If you pay women to stay home and take care of their kids, that'll leave jobs opening for these men who say the women are taking their jobs and stuff like that. Those women who would rather stay at home and take care of their kids, the men could have their jobs and stuff like that. And then you have working men that make you all happy.
They got all this money to send to Ukraine and other types of countries. I don't understand why they can't just take care of home first. Like,
Ego,
why can't they?
ally ego. I'd be like, if we was to cut off all these other countries and concentrate that money in the United States and do all these programs, we will have the money. We'll have money for reparation. We'll have money to health care. We'll have money for let's pay the moms to stay at home. See how many women will go for that. You know, there's quite a few women now that would really rather stay home and take
They
care of
owe our
kids.
ancestors $712 trillion at least, at least
Uh-huh.
from by virtue of stealing the land that was designated upon the Emancipation Proclamation, the land that was designated that was taken away by virtue, like that area of land, that territory, that was oil land. Okay, a lot of people
Well,
don't know that was oil land, like the Oklahoma and
uh-huh.
all that other kind of stuff. It was oil on that. It was oil in those states that were designated for our freed ancestors, right?
Hmm.
Our released captive ancestors. Those were oil lands. Those people made to date $700 trillion at least from the 1800s till to today. Oil in value of $700 trillion. Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's unpack this now.
Uh-huh.
Oil,
Oil.
okay, oil in value that was first discovered in the 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up to this day, what's this, December 3rd,
Uh-huh.
2022? $700 trillion. That was land set aside to repair all the wrongs that had been done to our kidnapped ancestors. And they snatched it legislatively. We fell for it. And here we are waiting on our $700 trillion at least. And I said trillion with a T.
Not to mention all the black towns that was confiscated for let me see, what's it called? It impended domain, something like that, something
Yeah,
domain.
yeah.
Um,
All that stuff.
yeah, like let me see,
Why
what
we gotta lay down for that? Why? I don't get it.
mm-hmm.
There's so many brilliant, intelligent people amongst us, why are we laying down for this?
Uh, well, some
When
of
there's $700 trillion on deck, there's $700 trillion on the table. Get that money. Y'all better get that money.
especially those people
What you
that
waiting
live in
for?
those areas.
Y'all better get that money.
Yeah, y'all live in those areas. Yeah, yeah, that means y'all got blood rights in those areas. You know.
Now let my father-in-law tell it. We can't. When I say we, I'm talking about we as black people. The minute people start using their brains and they make efforts, all of a sudden trouble comes into their life. All of a sudden
Mhm.
they're interrupted. All of a sudden, a whole heap of hell is piled on their head. So and I said all that to say this: there's strength in numbers, right? There's strength in numbers, and until we get together collectively with a determined purpose, it's always going to be a scattered $700 trillion left on the table.
Mhm. Yeah. 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 We're gonna be ghost towns. We're gonna be underwater towns. We're gonna be just markers on the side of the road of where towns used to be. Those were the black towns. We're going to be under. Let me see. Let me see.
Well,
What's that?
I lost.
We're gonna be turned into parks. Grand Central Park used to be a
I
black town.
remember the feeling. I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, but I'm asking,
Mhm.
assuming.
Mhm.
Remember the feeling when there was something that you had your hands on that meant something to you and it was lost. Um, um, that's that feeling that us collectively as a people have to conjure up within ourselves. We can't look at other ethnicities and cultures as okay, as long as we can fit in, as long as they pseudo admire us, as long as we're all having fun together, we straight. No, it's about never forgetting what it is you are owed, you know? And so then there's all these arguments about, well, how can you prove who's owed what? All these distractions about it appearing to be an impossible task. It's not impossible. It's not. What it is there are a bunch of roadblocks of discouragement and
Mhm.
intimidation, but it's not impossible. But I just want to say that.
Yeah. 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 And also fear of let me see. First, there's the fear of being killed, the fear of pain, the fear of being not included, the fear of not being seen as a person or being seen as this caricature caricature of a person. The fear of being seen as uh, being
An animal,
prejudiced. Oh yeah, yes, an animal.
they already think of us that way. So what do
Mhm.
we have to lose?
Yeah,
They already think that. Like
the, the
they
fear
used to
of
call the people that went through the Holocaust, they used to call them animal names, and they got together and said never again because they got together. They got together and they built it up. There's no need to be envious of them. You can learn from the example.
Mhm.
And you know,
Yeah.
like a lot of time people just I don't know if I want to include myself in this, but because I would like to think I believe it or not, I'm the type of person that never believed in the word ugly when it comes to human beings. I never thought any human being was ugly ever. Like even if society thought they were ugly, I just never thought that way. However, it wasn't until I encountered society as an adult that is the general consensus, that people make judgments on sight. That means
Hmm.
they judge our skin, and they judge our skin in a derogatory way. So what do we have to lose by getting together? Nothing, because they already think negatively of us by our skin.
Hmm.
So there's nothing left to do but strengthen one another. There's really nothing left to do but strengthen one another. And if we are so caught up in, petty, disorganized arguments, we're wasting the time that could be better served by unifying. You know, I
Yeah.
think I'm getting sleepy, Dane. I feel myself I feel drowsy. I feel myself dozing off. I do. I'm trying to hang with you. You
Yeah.
obviously got more
Yeah.
energy than I do.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I do. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock on my time. Um, mm, I probably feel it a little later, or mm,
No,
oh
you
well.
good. You good. I don't know if I should just leave. I don't want to leave. You on your panel by yourself, but at the same time, I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say much. So
Yeah.
I'll be here. I'm just not gonna say much. And if you call my name and I don't respond, don't be surprised if I fell asleep. So I'm just gonna listen.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we went around the world in the medical thing. But as for the original question you asked, does that really help? For a friend of mine to see a therapist, it helps her. It helped her a little bit at a time, one thing at a time. It helped her deal with the toxicity in her paternal relationship, and accept what works for her. It helped her deal with you know her own issues. It helped her dealing with her child who's has a disability, plus also take care of a brother with a disability, and her man who's getting more disabled. So helping her talk her out, helped her, mentally either process or to get the feelings out or to be heard. Sometimes it's just to be heard. Yeah, it can tiptoe into friendship and all that other stuff, but not quite really. You know, um, yeah, she rather that than the medicine. Some of them, because she had one that would prescribe her medicine and stuff like that, saying she had anxiety. She's like, "Well, I don't think I have anxiety and stuff like that," but insisted that she had anxiety. Can we do something besides? Can we just talk? Um, but yeah, it helped her. You know, some
Those
people.
professional drug dealers, they'll tell you in a minute, oh, you need this pill.
The anxiety
Like that
medicine
song.
kind of helps, but but it,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, no, I think I just need to talk it out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it made her happy when she wasn't happy. You know, like it was artificial happy. Nah, I want to deal with reality. Now, you know, now she feeling stressed, she might take it. But anyway, but as for if you're saying that it healed her and that she completed the process, no, there's always something going on in life that you do, you got to do. It helps you deal with it, or help you learn how to deal with it better. She's
Mm-hmm.
the one. You remember that video we saw earlier where that woman got back at her cheating husband by getting another man and quitting him and all that other stuff. Well, and I said she done a lot worse. Help her to deal with that a lot better. Your man don't cheat on you, leave him. You don't attack him. You don't burn the pictures. Uh, you don't beat the crap out of him. You don't get him deported.
But you know what though? Also, really though, vengeance is a hell of a drug. Okay, that's a lot of vengeance is a hell of a drug. The temptation to hurt someone that's hurt you, that
Mhm.
is a heck of a temptation right there. It's like, how do you walk away um pretending as if somebody didn't hurt you, and it's not a human compulsion to hurt them back. It's
Yeah.
it's just it's like, are you supposed to pat yourself on the back because you're with a bigger person? Like, yes, they hurt me and I didn't hurt them
Yeah.
back. Thereby, I'm the better person. Hell no!
Uh-uh.
Vengeance, goddamn it. Okay.
Yeah. Put sugar in the gas tank. Let me see. Sugar in the gas tank. Bust the windows out your cars. Oh, and there's a coworker of mine. We found this out. She found this out by accident. She wanted to scratch up his car. He loves his car, but she wanted to get back at her. So what she thought was, we got a bunch of stray dogs and cat in the neighborhood. They'll scratch up the car. She threw some bologna on top of the car. Heat of the day, the smells are going out.
Nah, that's different right there.
Okay, yeah, she's very creative in her revenge. Okay, so all she knows, like, what the ah, what did you do to my effing car? What are you talking about, man? I didn't touch your car. Which is true. She didn't touch his car. She expected him to be scratch marks. And like, what are you talking about now? And she saw these big circles on the car where paint used to be. And she's like, oh my God, what happened? So she gave an honest reaction because she did not expect that. Come to find out, bologna, I don't know what's in the bologna, but the bologna, something in the bologna, once that heat got to it, it ate through the paint on his car. The dogs and the cats did get the bologna and give me
Yeah,
scratches,
man.
but that was nothing compared to them
You
big circles of
get.
paint removed from a car. And because she was not
You
expecting
should
that,
have
she was like,
never
oh my
told
God,
me
what the
nothing
heck
like that.
happened?
You should have never told me nothing like that. Woo! Since of this advice, okay? I have just been inspired, goddamn it, because look, um, I don't advise anybody to do that. It can be traced back to you. However, it'll take some time for them to prove that it was you that put the baloney on their car. It'll take some
Yeah,
time.
because that was her honest reaction. She like,
God
what
damn.
the heck?
I would have
She's
never
like,
I would
I
have
know it
never
has
thought
something
about.
to do
I've
with it.
heard of
It's
sugar in the
like,
tank.
no, I did
I've heard of
not
slashing
do
tires. I've heard of carving stuff, and I've heard of busting windshields. I have never heard of throwing baloney on a car. I've never heard that. Oh
it.
my God, that's fascinating.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
so, I guess the moral of the story is it pays to have your own garage so that nobody
Your
can
own
enter and
place.
destroy your vehicle. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
leave. If you a dirty, low down person, don't have your car parked on the street. Okay, don't you do it. You know,
I keep thinking
it
of the
costs money to be low down. Okay, it costs money.
yeah. Yeah. Now I know of a
That
woman
woke me
that
up.
was
That shit woke me up. I was like, what? Baloney?
oh yeah, shocked the heck out of me too when she told me about it. I was like, what the and could never prove it because she don't normally get bologna. She don't like bologna. So he couldn't even say she threw bologna on his car because she don't get it. She got it only for that purpose to attract the dogs and the cat in the neighborhood. He took off with his friends so he wouldn't have to argue with her and left his car. He hopped in his friend's car because he's so paranoid. He don't want his car getting messed up because of wherever they're going at. And he left the car
Oh
there.
yeah, he really loves this car. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know people like that. They get, they joyride or whatever. They go around in other people's car. They leave their car parked because they don't want anything to happen to their car.
Yeah.
But they're dirty. They're out there dirty, and you know,
Hmm.
somebody that's vengeful could find out how much you love your car and go for your car.
Oh, I know of another girl. She got her man's car towed.
How did she do that?
Okay. Let me see.
This is wild.
You know how they have some of these stores where it says only patrons could park there?
Okay.
Well, she parked his car there.
She parked his car
She
there.
parked his car there. Now, most stores, if you there for, just for a few minutes or maybe not, they're not gonna bother. But if you're there for 2 days, oh, they call her. So so while he was away, she parked his car at one of these places that are known for they will have your car towed.
Yeah, like a 24-hour cafe that's got a parking lot, but it's only for customers that are there. So if your car is sitting there for 2 days, they know you're not in no cafe for 2 days. They gonna take your shit.
Oh yeah, and then she packed up all her stuff.
Oh
She packed up all her stuff and moved in with her parents. Said, "I need to stay with y'all for a few days until I get me a new place, cause I broke up with blah 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 blah." But she didn't tell that she parked his car and stuff like that. That's it. Yeah, she said I didn't want no hassle, so I waited till he left to wait on business. And I just packed up my stuff. I also had his car towed. Oh, and the scene where they're burning the clothes. She didn't do that. She packed all his clothes in the trunk of the car.
my god. He thought that out,
Only clothes
child.
he had left in the house was the dirty clothes in the laundry basket.
Now, you know what? Because I believe what you do comes back to you, I'm not that type of person. Any event that I have something that can't be resolved, I'm just going to exit stage left.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to do all that vengeance activity. However, I am aware of people that do it and have done it. And it's amazing to me. It's like, wow, I wish I had the karma, bravery, with some of these things. But I have never, you know,
Well, it did come back
I never thought about the baloney. I never thought about getting their car towed. That didn't come to mind because there is an anger that erupts when somebody does you wrong. There's an anger, and then there's all these imaginative ideas of what you can do to retaliate. I don't act on them, but I do have recalled imaginings like, I need to do this, and then, of course I didn't do it. But what I'm saying is, it never occurred to me to use baloney and towing
Yeah,
the car, getting the
me
car towed. That never occurred to me.
yeah. I was thinking of it was the scratching up the car. Okay, well that's bad. You can't say you keyed his car because she has keyed his car before, and she also had to repair it and stuff like that. But
I imagined slashing somebody's tires before. I imagined it. I was just like, I guess I'd be wrong if I slashed their
yeah,
tires, but of course I didn't go through with it. It's just that it was an imagining. And what I just can't get over this new information, like of different options to
yeah,
retaliate against people. That's new information.
yeah. I did not know that.
I
Somebody else
know
told
people
me.
that can do it. They don't have a problem with taking vengeance out on people.
Mhm.
I don't think I'll tell them these things though, because they might do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody else told me that. Yeah, something about the grease or the citrus
Sodium nitrate.
nitrates, something in nitrates, some combo in the bologna just between the fat and the combo with the fat and the nitrates.
That
I'm like,
nitrate, yeah,
good.
it'll dissolve paint. What do you think? I mean, because that's why people shouldn't eat those deli meats and stuff. Because imagine the oxidative stress. If the oxidative capacity can dissolve paint, just imagine what it does when it enters your body. There's the, it oxidizes everything in your body when you ingest it. So just it's evident by the paint that it eats. It's eating everything when you digest stuff like that. I'd stay away from deli foods. Um, there are keto specialists that want to say, hey, eat meat, eat you can't just eat any old kind of meat. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
can't just eat any old kind of meat and not expect it to have repercussions because they put additives in there that don't coincide with a healthy digestive response. You know what I'm saying? And by you telling that bologna story, I'm like, hell yeah, those sodium nitrates in that bologna will tear a paint job up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a guy that works on auto body told me, yeah, yeah. He said they found out by accident also. These guys, they either working on cars or they they dealing with so. They eating, they're taking a lunch break and they got bologna and bread and they fixing the sandwich and that grease and stuff is penetrating through the butcher paper. And it got onto the car and they just fixing their sandwiches and they're eating and stuff and shooting the breeze and stuff like that. So when they went to go clean it up, they thought maybe they just got to clean up a little grease.
It dissolved the paint, child.
Oh my goodness. And
And I
they
was
had to
raised to
fix the
believe that that's
customer
some
part.
good eating. Okay. When I was a
Mhm.
child, that fried bologna sandwich with mustard and some
Oh
Wonder
yeah.
Bread, that was good eating, okay?
Yeah.
And God forbid she got some fried potatoes and onions on the side with some bell pepper. Lord have mercy. That you ate good that day. It feels good going
Mhm.
in. Like it's so flavorful. It's got the right amount of salt. It's got the right amount of, spices. It feels so good.
Mhm.
But that stuff is poison. Okay?
Yeah, that and salami.
Oh my,
Certain
the
type of
fries. Oh my
salami.
God. And I really could I can understand the craving for it. Like I just recently had to get over a craving for Popeye's chicken. You know, no, because like I've been on so many panels where people were talking about, how they had Popeyes and whatever, and all of a sudden I had this, and that's why I think having these panel conversations, you have to be of a particular emotional fortitude because you can't be influenced by these conversations. Okay, like it hadn't occurred to me to eat any fried chicken for the longest time, and all of a sudden everybody talking about fried chicken, Popeyes specifically, you know,
Yeah.
and and all of a sudden I was like, I ain't been to Popeyes in years. I ain't been to Popeyes in like 5 years. I wonder. Let me see if I still got a hankering for it. So you get a little, you get a little wing, you get the little 2 piece or whatever, and you taste. You be like, that's some good. That's good. Yeah, I remember that. And you put the hot sauce on it. Like, yeah, that's good. I remember that. And you just walk away, be like, yeah, that was good. I remember that. But then here comes the next day. It's like, why the hell do I still want some more? Why do I still want some more? And that's when I knew it's like they putting something in that mix. They putting something in that flour, like MSG or something that they call it an excitotoxin, right?
Mhm.
Excitotoxins make you want what you just tasted,
Mhm.
and you will like cut somebody's throat to get to it. Like it's called an excitotoxin, and excitotoxins are in MSG, you know, and MSG will make you like, as they say, slap your mama. You know, MSG is no joke, and I think that's what they're putting in all these, these commercial fried, these restaurants. Period. They ain't stupid. They want to stay in business. So if it takes MSG to bring you back, that's what they're gonna do. Because
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I hadn't had Popeyes in several years, like maybe 4 or 5 years. And I went and got a 2 piece out of curiosity as a, I guess, social experiment. I've been influenced online with these conversations. I'm like, let me check it out. I'm like, yeah, that's good. It tastes like I remember when I was young, back in the day. And, I enjoyed it. Damn it, I did. But why did I want it so bad the next day? That's when I
Mm-hmm.
knew. I was like, something's up with this shit right here. So I had
Is
to
it?
detox, you know,
It
I had
it
to
could
detox.
be. It could be. Cause I know when I was in there, I saw the seasoning mix, and MSG was not in there. It just had. I can't remember.
It's in the flour that they dip it in. It's
Nah,
in.
it's just eggs and flour, egg
You
batter.
believe that if you want to.
Oh, and the seasoning that come off the chicken and the flour. That's about it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a
Believe
minute.
that if
Yeah.
you want to. When I compared my own because I fried some chicken for myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know what was the difference. I looked up the recipe of KFC, Popeyes. I looked up all that stuff, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna, because I do social experiments like that.
Okay.
And I was just, the only thing I left out was this particular ingredient that wasn't called MSG. It's called something else. Nonetheless, when I looked it up, it's an excitotoxin. And that's what I'm saying. It's not just about MSG. There are excitotoxins that the FDA approves to be used without disclosure. That's what I'm saying. They putting something in these foods to keep you coming back.
Excitotoxicity.
The toxins.
Uh,
There are certain different, like, how there are certain different names for, like, let's just say maltodextrin. That's a different word for something that's um I
uh,
guess sugar, but it's not sugar. Like when a person is looking on a label, a supplement facts label or a nutritional facts label, and they're looking for the sugar content of added sugars, right? And then you see where added sugars is zero, right?
uh-huh.
And then you look down and you see the ingredients, and it's got more names than you could pronounce, and one of them happens to be a derivative of a sweetener that the FDA permits companies from not claiming
Mm-hmm.
as sugar. So it's about being a label detective, a nutritional detective, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just take interest in what you put in your mouth. Take
Okay.
take it seriously. Hey
Okay.
Max, good to hear from you
Hey,
again.
Mm-hmm.
how you doing? It's been a while. You
I was
okay?
Yeah.
sleepy for a moment until I heard about the bologna on the car. That was
Yeah,
that
that
was
was something
tripping me
I
out.
Yeah. 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 That tripped me
I
out
didn't
too.
know about. Oh, now say that again. Now what's that about? They do
The
what with the bologna
bologna.
now?
Yeah. She threw. She wanted to damage her boyfriend's car without keying it because
Hmm.
she keyed it before and she was getting tired of paying for it every time he pisses her off.
Hmm.
So she's like, okay, we got a bunch of dogs and cat in the neighborhood because they see the cat prints on the car and stuff like that. They said,
Right.
well, let me motivate them to scratch up the car. So she threw a bunch of bologna slices on top of the hood of the car and top of the car, to encourage the dogs to scratch, the cats to scratch. So when her boyfriend came back, he's hollering and cursing and like, what the F you did? And she's thinking, oh, it worked. The cats and the dog got busy last night. So it's like, what are you talking about? What did you do to my car? How did you do this to my car? I'm like, what the? I didn't do nothing to your car. I didn't touch your car, which was true. Legally, she didn't touch his car. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So she goes around to see what he's looking at, and oh my God, there's these circles of paint that's been removed off his car. And she's like, oh my God,
What?
what the hell happened?
The sodium
Wow.
nitrates in bologna eroded the paint off of his car. So it's
Wow.
just a bunch of baloney circles of
Yeah,
Oh,
eroded
from
paint
wow.
on the
the
hood of his car.
wheel
Wow.
to the top to the trunk because she threw it on various parts, because she wanted to encourage the dogs and cat to really dig their claws in and try to get at the baloney. And they got to the
Wow.
baloney, but them scratch was nothing compared to them circles.
That's right. The sodium
Wow.
nitrate was nothing compared. I mean, the scratches were nothing compared to the chemicals of sodium nitrate in that baloney. That's what
Literally
eroded the paint
baloney.
off that car.
And she said that's another reason why
Hmm.
she said I never liked the bologna. Now I know why. If it can eat through paint, it's not good for you to eat.
Well, Coke, right? Coca-Cola can dissolve corrosion off your battery cables.
I've heard that. That's right.
Hmm. I've actually done that. That's true. That works. You pour the Coke on it, it'll start eating up the corrosion, right? Like instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just imagine what it's doing to somebody's bones, you know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it
Mhm.
the
made me stop
digestive
drinking.
system. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Hmm.
about getting some Coca-Cola because I'm going to do some intense cleaning, and there's some areas I want to remove some rust off.
Well, if you want to clean metal like brass and stuff, you got brass in, use Kool-Aid.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have no brass, but I got like stainless steel and
See, even Kool-Aid is, and see, that's what
Mm.
people, and what's sickening to me is that before I was motivated to learn about nutrition and anatomy, I used to feed my child that crap. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank
wow.
God he's fairly healthy. It's like, I still beat myself up about that emotionally to this day. Like, how could I have known that what is being offered to us in America is actually poisonous? How could I have known? You know, by learning. Knowledge is, you know, is important.
Yeah,
It
they trying
really
to
is.
kill you. They try to kill you, and they try to sell you all of these diets, supplements, and stuff. You know.
Did you know that supplements aren't regulated by the FDA? They could be sweeping sawdust in those capsules.
Yeah.
How do you
A
really
lot of
know?
stuff.
You got
A
to
lot of stuff.
research the reliability of the company that it comes from. I'd go for um I go for brands that have third party. Like, I do a lot of research when it comes to stuff like that. Even spices. I don't even use like, regular grocery store spices anymore because I find out that they zap them with radiation, you know.
Yeah, and some of them, yeah, and some of them also are hybrids anyway.
Yeah. And then
Hmm.
people think they're getting fancy with these exotic things. What they don't
Hmm.
understand is the soil in some of those endemic areas, they have bacteria on them that can't be zapped away, you know.
Mhm.
They remain, you know. And that goes for aromatherapy as well. I just found a video about aromatherapy. I could share with you all if you want to feature it right now because it's short and it's important. And it
What is
is really
aromatherapy?
aromatherapy is where people take essential oils and they put it in like a diffuser, like a steam. You know how people
Hmm.
just have
Inhale.
these, yeah, these, and yeah, and they inhale it or they put it in something that they plug in and it makes the room smell like lavender or
Do
pineapple
you?
or
Oh, okay. Can you get
Pines.
yeah,
high? Can you do
right.
that with weed? Can you put weed in there?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is because I've never been a big proponent of incense and candles, and it was just something that I call it the providence of God. It was just
Hmm.
something about me that just, the idea of buying something and just letting it burn and steam in the air is just, unless I'm
You know,
assured of its
mhm.
purity, I just don't want to breathe in any more toxins than what's already existing if I can help
have
it.
you have you noticed that you can barely find figs?
Yeah, I've
There's a,
noticed that.
yeah, they almost don't even sell them anywhere anymore.
I've noticed that. I remember a shop owner Um, he had, you know, he ran a tobacco shop, and
Mhm.
I guess during his lunch break while he's there, cause him and his son run it, they were just elated. I rarely see them happy, but they were elated, and it was because of these figs. They had like 2 cases of figs, like fresh figs, and they
Mhm.
were elated. And they
Mhm.
were speaking in their little language or whatever it is they do, but you could tell they were elated about figs. And
Yeah,
I noticed at the
because
grocery store that I went to, they only had figs maybe once or twice that year.
Mhm.
yeah, they're loaded with nutrients for the body. Just loaded all the way through. It's
Yeah.
like one of the most healthy things you can feed the body, if
Mhm.
not the healthiest.
Shoots.
I
In
agree.
Louisiana, we used to have fig trees everywhere,
Yeah, you
and
can't find them
we
no more.
spent
It's
the
like, where are
summer
they?
picking figs. There's only a
Uh,
few people that has fig trees. And what I didn't know at the time, you have to have at least 2 fig trees. Can't just have one fig tree because they need to cross pollinate in order to produce.
Now that's good information.
Mhm. I found that out from my great aunt. She kept wondering why her fig tree was not producing any figs, and when she went back home to tell them, hey, something wrong with that fig tree you gave me, it ain't producing any figs. I said, well, how many fig trees do you have? Oh, I just got that one. Well, that's the problem. You just got one. You need two. Yeah. So, yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking at your title. What's going on with the title?
Oh, well, I just had nothing at that moment that I wrote the title. I had nothing. And then I said, Sike, I do have a little something to say.
Mela, have you
Mhm.
Mela, have you heard of that girl that was murdered in Cabo?
I thought Dame was answering your question. What's up with you? But anyway, to answer your question, yes. And we were talking about that earlier in the live stream. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
There's
we
only one person arrested right now, right?
So far, there's
Just one
the
person.
Department of Justice is on the job.
mhm. Yeah,
hmm
They,
they're not sane, and not to
Yeah,
mention,
Mexico.
there's a
Mexico better do something because they're
mhm.
making all this money off the U.S., especially with the NFL. You know, the NFL is over there in Mexico now. Games are
What?
being touched. Yeah, so they better do something. Anyway, what are you ladies up to tonight?
they wanna make sure their tourism isn't obstruct. They want to
Yeah,
maintain their money
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
they
this
have
bad.
to.
It's like they they got to do something, like you said, if they want to keep that money coming in.
yeah. They
Kind of
already
makes you
had
wonder.
three other black folks that died, and but
It kind
those
of makes you wonder, right? Like, what kind of people are today's generation, right? That girl was 25 years old who died, and the girl who killed her was 25.
no, actually she was 27.
Okay, well, 27. Okay, not that far off, right?
Mhm.
So, what's going on in their minds in this generation to the point where they become so angry that they have to kill someone in order to get that anger out?
Well, it was our theory, or rather my own theory, that
Mhm.
and Frankie inspired me with this concept about it being for world star hip hop in order to make money, and it went left. Like they took it too far.
Mhm.
They were trying to. It's possible that let's just hear me out with this scenario. It's possible that she paid for the trip, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And perhaps the condition is we can pay you back once we get a video that's guaranteed to be featured on World Star Hip Hop, like what Kevin Samuels did, but only better. But it's going to include you getting your ass whooped. Because the way I looked at it, this is how I came to this hypothesis. The fact that that guy who was supposed to be her quote unquote best friend, he said, "Aren't you going to fight back?" And that's a weird thing to say unless it was orchestrated. If it wasn't orchestrated, most likely the human response is like, oh shit, they fighting, oh shit, and just record it and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on World Star Hip Hop. But no, his response was like, damn, ain't you gonna fight back, as if it was orchestrated. And that's where I came up with the hypothesis that it was orchestrated. However, it went too far.
She had a broken neck.
She didn't want to cooperate. Yeah, she got to the point where she didn't want to cooperate, and they was like, "Fuck that, we can make a lot of money with this." And
I think you're partially right. It was orchestrated, but she wasn't into orchestration.
Where was the spine broken at? In the upper part of the back or the lower part of the back?
Upper part of the back.
Upper part of the back where the neck was. So I don't know, man. I don't know if this was some kind of prank they wanted to do on. Because I read something somewhere about the girl Desiree or whatever her name is. That girl got her cousin murdered or something, and this was payback.
Okay, hold on a second. Chaos. It's really not. It's ladies' night. It's really not. Guys coming up here. It's just that. The Black Knight wanted to discuss something about what.
Yeah, let me get out of here. I gotta stop doing this. I said I wasn't gonna come up here tonight, but I just wanted to sneak in. All right, ladies, y'all take care.
Good night, Max. Good night.
So, Chaos, you're gonna have to put whatever you wanted to talk about in the chat.
I approve of men getting on the panel. It's just that I respect your protocol. And so I'm not going to question your protocol. I just wanted to announce for myself, I don't have a problem with speaking with anybody. So I have nothing to do with her protocol, okay? This is strictly Dame Frankie's rules. And I'm here gladly. And please don't take it out on me. I didn't say like I don't want to talk to no men, and it's nothing like that. I'm here because I'm blessed to have found that she's live tonight. So, y'all don't focus on me. I'm like, apparently Melly don't want to talk to no men. No, this is Dame Frankie's protocol. It has nothing to do with me, okay?
Okay, obviously I'm gonna have to do more conversation with Lady Dame so the guys can come up. But no, this is ladies only, ladies night. Yeah, you can conversate in the chat, Chaos. I answer anything you got in the chat. But no, because sorry, the troll's gonna use you as an excuse to go on, and then they change the dynamic of the topic. So oh gosh, I forgot where I was going with that. But I think you're right that it was orchestrated, but I don't think she was part of the orchestration. Everybody else but Shanquilla was part of the orchestration.
Good point.
That's probably why she did not want to fight, or she wasn't fighting back. Probably wasn't understanding, why are you hitting me? What did I do? What was so wrong?
But she didn't say that. That's what I'm saying. Like she didn't say like, what is going on? Why are you doing it? It was none of that. She wasn't panic stricken. And that was weird.
See, that's the bad part about the video. It started. Oh shoot! Hold on a second. Okay, where did I put my earbuds? You put your earbuds down for 1 second. Okay, let me take it off of there. Hello?
While she's talking, y'all, did you ever think about that? Like, they asked or rather, she was asked, "Why aren't you fighting back? Aren't you going to fight back?" The entire time that she was being mauled, you
Mm-hmm.
know, she didn't say, "Why is this happening? What are you doing? Somebody help me." There was none of that. And then to
Mm-hmm.
cap it off with, "Aren't you going to fight back?" It just seemed orchestrated. And I would like to believe she wasn't in on it. Like, okay, yeah, fuck it, we'll go ahead and do that. And then it went too far. I would like to believe that she wasn't agreeing to some world star hip hop video orchestration that went too far. I just don't understand the different audio responses that I heard. First of all, with him saying, "Aren't you going to fight back?" versus as well as her not announcing, "Somebody help me. Why are you doing this?" Like, if somebody's beating me up, let alone naked, I'm calling for help. I'm like, "Help, help. What are you doing? Help." It's like it just didn't make any logical sense in terms of human behavior responses.
Mm-hmm.
If she was jumped surprised, if she was surprised, if she was accosted, whenever somebody's accosted, they get startled and they get panic stricken and they audibly ask for help or ask why this is happening. She didn't do that. She was in the midst of getting plummeted, beat up. She was asked a question and she responded no in a way that was weird too. She was like, "No." It was a passive no. It wasn't like, "No, because I don't know why this bitch is beating me up." It wasn't nothing. It wasn't a panic. There was no panic stricken
Yeah.
responses from her.
Yeah.
So
But
it would appear that it was orchestrated with the intent to display a world star video type of upload, and it just went too far.
okay. Or it could be more like this. Okay, now there's a video of when she has her phone and she gone in because they were supposed to go skinny dipping. That's why she's there. And she's going, "It don't take long to get naked." She goes into a room, they're all in the room, they're all in their clothes, and then something happens, she drops her phone, and then it goes out. I think, as I said, I believe the so-called guy friend instigated something, trigger off the other girls into being mad at her, especially, um, and the phone got slapped out of her hand, probably
So
by one
okay,
of the
they
girls.
was okay. So the guy that was instigating was saying, "Now's your time to really, get her back for the time she did this, that, and the other." Okay,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
I get
mhm.
that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
now he he wasn't interested in anything before. He wanted to get just before to get into the fight. So anything she might have said before might not have gotten recorded. She might have like, "Hey, I don't want to do this. I didn't do what you said I did. I don't know what's going on." All that could have not been included because he didn't start recording. He waited till
Hmm.
just before she started swinging. She already
Hmm.
realized I'm not getting help from my friends, the other people. I just
Hmm.
want to get out of this and stuff like that. And swing, start recording.
And then we haven't even addressed
Mm-hmm.
rather what deception had been practiced toward her mother about the cause of her death. And furthermore, apparently there's evidence that she talked to her sister while she was on her way to Cabo, saying that everybody that was with her was showing animosity toward her.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two factors outside of the video that have been, going around as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that video in and of itself, it has some peculiar
Yeah, that's why we're gonna have to wait till
things about it.
that's why we're gonna have to wait till they do talking. But I do know not everybody that's going is gonna be they are witnesses. There's some of them that are telling So they are there as witness. Who is telling? Who's the witness? We're not gonna know. They not gonna tell us any of that because they trying to protect the people. But anyway, I'm afraid. Shoot, I lost track of the time, and I don't have no more time. I guess I'm gonna finish the rest on the conversation with Lady Dane. Okay, so for those of you who want to see, I got nothing for you. I had a little something for you. Yeah, y'all got a little touch of it, so that's why I psych y'all out. Y'all do get a little something. Okay, y'all ain't getting nothing. You got something, and the rest gonna have to wait till another time. I went over my time,
I
and I'm
thought
going.
psych was spelled a different way than what you put it.
Oh, if
I
you
thought it
want
was
to.
sick, and I was like, what does she mean by sick?" But you're
Oh,
saying
okay.
psych.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think psych is spelled. Well, I'm under the impression psych is spelled SYKE. But I could be wrong. But when I saw SIC, I was like, sick. Okay.
Okay, I misspelled it. I'm gonna have to correct it. Thanks for catching it. I'm a,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look out for you when I'm here. Okay.
mhm. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace, power, and unity. And Psycho, you're welcome to come up for a conversation with Lady Dane. But ladies' night is just the ladies. All right.
Good
It's
night,
all
everybody. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Enjoy a most prosperous season of your life. Peace out and be unified. Thank you, Dane Frankie, for having me. I love you, baby. Bye.
okay. You're welcome.
Sister
Bye,
Leela.
y'all. All right.